Some exciting news with the official cash rate dropping to maybe that stimulatory, if I can even say that word, level of 2.5% from 3%. The current governor, Christian Hawkesby, dropped it to get everybody excited as we head into summer, as he leaves the role, I believe, and the bank mate to make way for a new governor on the 1st of December.
Yeah, he was the stand-in temporary replacement for Adrian Orr while they hunted for the permanent. And I actually thought that he was going to be the permanent stand-in, but obviously didn't impress in the interview. God knows where he went. Maybe he didn't take the Shrewsburys.
There it is.
Who knows? But a woman from Sweden, is that right? Europe somewhere, who's got quite an extensive background in economics and banking, is going to be here to save the day. But did we do a prediction on our previous podcast on this as to where we thought it was going to go, as to like a 25 or a 50 cut?
I can't remember. I didn't go back and listen to it, but I think we were talking about how this is going to happen. They're going to have to drop it to try and get the narrative of excitement going, to get people into summer, and then we come back and blah, blah, blah.
I can't remember what I said, but now that we've gone a whole 50 points, the media have absolutely grabbed onto it. Are you excited?
I'm not. I'm confused.
Yeah. Mate, I've got a mortgage because I own a property like every other Aucklander. You're about to jump on the bandwagon at some point in your life, I suspect. And then everyone will point and go, I told you so. You'll turn into one of those guys eventually. But I don't feel excited about it. And I just, from a constantly like look at things from a business owner and a small and medium-sized business owner's point of view, it doesn't excite me that it's going to make that much impact or difference to life as a business owner in terms of going, okay, it's now 2.5, I'm now all of a sudden going to start and sell more, or I'm going to be more profitable. Or the problems that I had yesterday are now gone away today because the Reserve Bank have come out with this massive cut of 50 points.
Yeah, I think the missing ingredient that the RBNZ are trying to create, and everybody is trying to create, is that confidence and that momentum. And that's the bit that's missing. And until Kiwi people buy into that, I think it's still going to be pretty sluggish. And I think there's still some pain to come in different pockets. I don't think this is oh, great, it's all going to be fixed.
Yeah, and we were, reminds me, we were talking in the office the other week, I think it was, exactly that point of, it's been interesting the last few weeks how the narrative in the media seems to have shifted. It only seemed like a month ago where it was just like, oh, pre-COVID this and post-COVID that, and doom and gloom and woe is this, and like bad stat after bad stat after bad stat. And then it's only in recent weeks that I think I made a comment to you. It's just like, man, I actually haven't heard anyone reference of, oh, this has changed and compared to pre-COVID or immediately post-COVID. Like, so we're kind of, the media seem to have changed their narrative now to not use that language and actually shifting to probably some more brighter language, because I think some of them out there are actually seeing the impact that they have. And maybe the phones are ringing from the Beehive in Wellington over the Chinese walls to the Reserve Bank, who may be across the road. I don't know. I don't spend time in Wellington. Who would then jump on the phone to some of these media outlets going, hey guys, you actually genuinely need to change your tune here, because you do have an impact on the psychology and emotions of your audience. And if they're constantly consuming it in negative piece after negative piece after negative, that's where we're going to live. And I think there's been a subtle shift in recent times, but I'm yet to actually see that. And I mean, it's too early to say, to flow that through. I'm genuinely going to be interested to see how summer plays out.
Yeah, I do have some hope that I keep saying that we will go in with a lower OCR. I think they might drop it again, and there will be this sort of, okay, we can stop fixating on that. We've got some summer, we've got some sun, we've got some people spending on credit, and let's just get on with it in 2026 sort of thing. But yeah, I think people are just so broken that it's just still going to take so long to get through this. We're just going to keep looking for the next thing, like, oh, why is it hard? It's like, that's where our mindsets for a lot of people are, is like, why is it hard? Not what's my opportunity?
It's exactly, and that's where I think, like, yeah, it's at 2.5, and I can kind of poke the bear and stir the pot a little bit and just go, well, as a business owner and potentially a homeowner with a mortgage, what if that's it and it stays at 2.5? Like, then what are you going to do? I mean, and it just reinforces the fact of what we see, so many people just sitting and waiting for things to happen. And as business owners, you've got an obligation, irrespective of where we are in an economic cycle, to make things happen. You're in charge of your profit and loss. And it's like you've suggested before in previous podcasts, of like, you've got to put your hat on and pretend you're the CEO of a listed company.
Yeah.
And like, what would a CEO do in this circumstance? You know, Air New Zealand, the fact that they've come out through COVID and they've got these engine issues and everything, old mate Greg Ferran isn't sitting there just going, oh, gee, we've got these engine problems with whatever engine manufacturer it is. No one's traveling. The cost of fuel's this. Hey, guys, let's just sit here and wait for things to get better. They're actually out there changing routes, changing planes, mixing up their service offering. In recent times, I've started to see them now promoting more of their, one-way deals to Australia to say, hey, look, there's stuff happening. Like, they're creating it. Yeah. I did hear I think it was this morning or yesterday, demand to sit at the front of the plane has never been stronger than, dare I say it, the pre-COVID thing. And it comes back to that experience thing. And I think if you, and again, the data shows that, and this is where the opportunity is for businesses, and you mentioned it in the office today, and again, I don't know how, I've lost count of how many times you said it, like if you use Xero, contacts, customers, export.
Ring.
Yeah, email, like you look at the customer list and it's like what problems are they facing? And based on their experience with us in the past, what solutions have we got that we can solve for them that's going to make us money?
Yeah. It's there's so many points I want to make, and one that you just mentioned, the front of the plane. I'm in the old gold stars on Air New Zealand, so I've got these ripper upgrades that I can't even use. I think I've had them for 14 months or something, and you'll love this. I went to use my upgrade on the for Sydney.
Yep.
And I'm like, who am I kidding? I go up to the counter on the way home. I was like, oh, hey, mate, I've actually applied for like an upgrade, because he was checking me in. I was like, that says 54A. I was kind of hoping for 5A. And he said, oh, I'll just check. And he's like, and laughed at me. He was like, plane's full, mate.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, cheers for the service, bro. Awesome. Like, there's cool upgrades that I won't actually get to use.
You didn't play, do you not know who I am?
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck who I was, mate. But I guess what, the thing that I'm most concerned about is, oh, great, the OCR is a lot lower, cool. But I think, okay, let's just go pre-COVID, and you go, right, December 16, the OCR was 1.75. We're getting excited about 2.5. Okay, June 2017, it was 1.75. January 18, August 18, March 2019, and it's basically sitting around 1.75. And then we get into July 2019, 1.5. We get into August 2019, 1. We get to December.
It's a long time. So that previous peak to your left.
Yep.
What is that top? There, yeah.
So back in March 2008, post-GFC, 8.25%, or leading into it, and then it drops right down to 3.5. But I'll show you a graph in a second that I've kind of created on the fly. But what I'm trying to point out is the OCR was 1 prior to the pandemic. We're getting excited about 2.5. I can't help but think, fuck. Like, the economy isn't fundamentally different. If anything, the economy is worse.
Well, it's smaller.
It's riddled with debt. It's smaller. We've hollowed it out with people leaving to Australia. You've got baby boomers who've gotten older. They're less inclined to be growing. They've got money parked up in term deposits that are risk-free. Do they want to spend it? Don't know.
Well, if they are, they're spending it overseas on cruise ships because they're not spending it domestically.
So I just can't see how a 2%, even a 2% OCR is going to be stimulatory for people. Like, if I show you this graph and we go, right, this is a very simple, when Luke used to do math and statistics, those watching on YouTube may be able to see this.
Yeah, that's a great diagram you've done there.
I'm trying to draw an arrow to show, okay, where's the direction of this OCR if we take out all the noise? And basically, from prior to the GFC, so 1999 to then 2010, like, it ends up trending down. And then we roll through and we have a flat period again. and we end up flat through to about March 2014. It's 2.5, then it goes up to 3.5. Oh shit! And then what? Boom! It steps all the way down. To 1.
Yeah.
Then we have the pandemic. We tank it right down to 0.25. Holy shit! We overcooked the economy. We better send it up to 5.5. This looks a little bit familiar to back in 2008. And I just wonder, if you then follow those 3 arrows down, like where is this thing going?
It's a really good, and what intrigues me is that previous peak of 2008 and then the drop. We're following the same path here, but is the length of how low it is, bar that period there, I don't know what years those are there, is that 2000 and...
Must be about 12 or 13, I think.
Yeah. Like it stays. That's a long period of time between, what's that, 2010
there?
To 2000. There's 10 years.
Yeah, where it's just hovering.
And we're just at the peak here. So imagine 10 years ago, we're at 2002. We've got 8 years ahead of us of where this thing, based on the past...
Yeah, I reckon...
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah.
I reckon what I'm saying is this whole thing is just keeps shifting over, and I reckon we're back at this GFC drop, and they're going to go, fuck, it's not working. And you can kind of script it by going, who did they hire? And she has experience taking it really low. Yes. And I think what's going to happen, she's going to come in and go, this economy's really fundamentally broken. I've reviewed everything. Guys, I think we have to live with a bit higher inflation. I need to get this OCR down. We need to start rebuilding this economy. Here's what's worked for us over here. Maybe. This is me just speculating, but even if I don't speculate, all I'm saying is how is the economy fundamentally different to prior to the pandemic? It's not. It's worse.
Worse, yeah.
And there's not new tech innovation everywhere.
I think that's really good insight that looking back to previous outcomes to predict what could happen into the future, and then looking that we went from a high of, I think you said 5% or whatever that was in 2008, and then that's lasted 10 years at that lowest kind of range before it absolutely fell down because of the pandemic. Then inflation has brought it, got the Reserve Bank to bring it up to 5 point whatever percent it was. We're only just really at the beginning of the slide down, and then how long is it going to stay down? And I think if the past is anything to go by, that shows that it takes a fair bit of time for the New Zealand economy to kick into gear.
Yes. Yeah. And my only caveat to this is where I could be wrong, where I think my whole thing is wrong. And like I probably am. And an economist would carve me to bits and be like, you've oversimplified, that's not how it works. My caveat is the baby boomers step in with all the money that they do have and they go, we're going to buy heaps of shit. And things get frothy. Or, low rates lead to people borrowing more, and then we just basically repeat the cycle of the same shit. We think we're getting wealthier, but really we're just bidding up house prices. But yeah, I think that like we keep saying, every time we talk about this stuff, if you're not on your toes, you're not going to be making progress.
Well, it's anecdotally speaking, and this is rash. So my mum could be classified as a bit of I call her a boomer. Whether she fits the demographic, like statistically speaking, I don't know. But like she's retired, semi-retired now, cashed up, grandparents, so her parents passed away, got the inheritance, sitting on a little bit of cash. What's she doing with it? She's going on holidays, like traveling. Never done as much traveling in the last probably however many years as done in her entire life. So that cash is going into overseas economies.
Yeah.
And like that's just one boomer, my mum, who's got a little bit of cash. You multiply that out. So there's 25% of the population who are sitting on a decent pot of cash, who are costing us the most through social welfare at $20-something billion a year, taking that pension money and their boomer cash from property, spending it on cruise ship pokies.
Oh, can they live stream it at least? I want to see if Mum hits any features. Yeah. It's just, I struggle to not be excited because I just love life and think, what a time to live through it.
Yeah.
I think the whole, the OCR's coming down, life gets better. I just think the worlds are so different now, the landscape's changed, the demographics have changed, everything is so different.
I'd be excited as an outbound tour operator booker for boomers.
Same.
Oh man, like if I could, like this weekend, let's just spend time in the office, create a landing page, do some ads, and then just target the cash and just charge them margin deluxe because we know they've got the cash.
Yeah, I joked at a conference that I spoke at recently, you know, this is where it's all going, this is where I see it going. I don't want to give you the answer, but I wouldn't mind being a travel agent, you know, because I think they're going to see a flood of money just
they battle with technology. I mean, I know my mum, and I'm referencing her as and I'm not saying that she's the pillar of boomers, but she is technologically challenged. And I know the last few trips she's been on, she's referenced her travel agent, so-and-so from XYZ travel agency. I'm like, oh, geez, I bet you this person's banking a few bonuses courtesy of you, happy days.
Because the interesting thing is that the RBNZ basically said as part of this, we sort of half by expect to see inflation at 3% when the September data comes out. Well, the range is 1% to 3%, Christian, you know? Do I have to remind you or start getting you to pray that you actually want to tackle inflation? Oh, we're going to look through that. We think it'll be magically 2% next year. Well, anytime the RBNZ tell me something that they're confident about, I have a degree of skepticism. But then when it ends in a zero, I'm like, you're definitely making this up.
Well, he's got the insurance companies and local councils saying, hold my beer. We'll make sure it doesn't get down to 2% or 1.8% because that stuff is not getting any cheaper.
The other thing with the OCR coming down that I think everybody gets excited about, but something I started thinking about at the top of the cutting cycle is we're just going to repeat what we've seen before. But the sad thing is, if you think about it, when you give poor people more income, they buy things. When you give wealthy people more income, they buy assets.
Yeah.
So it just increases
the gap.
Yep. And then when you give poor people lower interest rates, they can then finance more stuff. And when you give wealthy people lower interest rates, they think, I can finance more assets. So the gap just gets wider, and there's no education for a lot of these people too. So they go, oh, okay, well, you're going to have 940,000 people coming out of a tough economy with a form of buy now, pay later that didn't even exist not that long ago. And then you've got people like us and business and that are going, okay, going to be like, if I can get my hands on some debt at 5%, maybe I am looking at a rental property. Maybe I am looking at some debt recycling and getting into some stocks, or maybe I'm buying another business. And I think we're just going to see the wealth gap, just expand between those two groups, but also the action takers and the non-action takers.
Well, as I've hypothesised about the potential change in government, which I still think is odds on, red-green, apparently the green coloured party policy will close that gap.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but let's see how that plays out. But you're right, and I think it's just people's lenses through which they see the world and the opportunity is completely different. And we saw that in, although some people did get burnt, the opportunity of such cheaper credit in the post-COVID environment. We saw what happened to asset prices with property and then FOMO created. The same thing is going to happen again. Probably not to the same degree. OCR is going to come down. Like what you say, it might come down a little bit more. It might go to 2.25. It might go to 2. We're not economists. We don't work at the Reserve Bank. We haven't had the knock on the door. They didn't even ask us to apply. But what it's fundamentally going to do is going to create interest in assets that have otherwise been viewed as unaffordable because the debt is now affordable. That's going to create demand. Demand is then going to create prices to go up. Then that creates FOMO. Then it's inflation. And we're back. We're on the hamster wheel again. We're going around. So the top tip here for people is when the OCR comes down and we're presented with having more cash, pause. Let's not put it into property. Let's put it into something that's going to generate a return in real terms, cash, like your own business. We've got an opportunity with all of these customers, contacts, customers, download, call, email. Give that to your marketing agency. Don't have a marketing agency? Google one. Say, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I'm now saving $1,000 a month on my mortgage, or whatever the number is, $500. There's $6,000 a year. Okay, here's a $6,000 budget for you to help me generate another $100,000 of sales.
I saw something loose that I liked the other day, mate. And it was a New Zealand business hosting an international tour. And I thought, shit, that's smart. And they were taking all these New Zealand businesses over there, doing some form of training and stuff with them. I was thinking, shit, they must do a right out of that. I was listening to the person speak. They're like, fucking cost us thousands, but it's not a cost, it's an investment. We'll make it back in New Zealand, but that whole thing was tax deductible.
Yeah, nice.
I'm like, whoa, that's playing the game a little bit differently, but they were investing into their clients outside of New Zealand at a loss, but knowing, okay, they will then go back. We've had a great time overseas and whatnot and kind of had a bit of a holiday, but really it's an investment and they'll go on to make that cash.
Strengthening those relationships in the construction industry, maybe.
Well, look, I would hate to say.
We don't want to speculate.
Now, I had to get some coaching the other day, mate, from Chazza because I was reading about spare capacity. So spare capacity is going to bring inflation down, and that spare capacity is unemployment and...
In the labour market. People sitting around twiddling their thumbs, so to speak.
Yeah, and then you might have people cost-cutting and undercutting, and that's going to bring the price down, so things aren't going to be going up in price as much. And I was thinking, that's interesting, because what I can't reconcile with all the generalised economic data is, okay, then how do I have a client ringing me being like, oh, we did a fly drop and we're booked out till December? How do we have clients saying, oh, we emailed our database and we're swamped, we've got heaps of shit to do? How do I have clients saying, oh, we used to charge this, but now we charge this, and they're flying? And basically Chaz was like, Luke, this is not normal. This is not the average. Because what I was asking is, what I think may be happening is that the outliers and the action takers are doing really well. They're not cost cutting. They're like, oh, I can make more than I ever thought possible. I will add a lot of value. The boomers do have a lot of money.
They can see things through a value lens, right?
Yeah. So they're value pricing and they're out there doing stuff. And so they're in their own world and they're just killing it. I'm like, they're not coming back into the market being like, oh, right, if I charge a bit less, I might get this work. And then I thought, then you've got all these businesses that have been wiped out of the market. So they're not going to be in there cost cutting. So I was trying to figure out who's driving all this price down by cutting each other's throat with pricing. And it basically told me, you're an idiot, mate. You're thinking about outliers and whatnot. I can see where you're coming from, but that's not like the average economy. But what I want to encourage those listening to this to be thinking about is you don't want to play in that space. You don't want to be, oh, we're part of eight tenders on this or 8 prices. You want to articulate your value, work on your branding, demonstrate why it is that you charge what you charge, sell for outcomes, not hours or units and things like that, and really focus on why you're more valuable than your competitors. And that's how you're going to build a sustainable business long term that isn't reliant on, oh, we'll match their price, oh, we'll maybe, we could discount it a little bit.
And I think that highlights, using that example of this company or business that took customers overseas and they'll make a return on it. They're investing into their customers. This is another example. As business owners, we've got to remember to invest in ourselves.
Yes.
And much like Luke has been educated by Chazza and saying, hey, look, we're only talking about some 1%ers here. As a business owner, that's probably a really good place to start. This is my business. This is my industry. These are my customers. This is what I sell. Help me sell this product better. These are some of the objections that I get. How can I counter these objections? That's phase 1. Move to phase 2. Watch YouTube videos. Don't want to watch a YouTube video? Do what Luke does. Put it on double or triple speed. Graduate from that step. Go and find a sales coaching consultant. There's plenty of them out there. Find one that resonates with you, understands with you, has got demonstrated experience. Learn some tricks of the trade. What are some things that you could be missing out on? Everyone's got blind spots. And it might be the way you structure the call or the email or something. And I'm a big proponent of the fact that I think because of tall poppy, New Zealanders are really bad at putting themselves out there, which means they're really bad at selling.
Yes.
And they're making the offer because they're scared of the rejection and the no. And I think the example that you shared on an earlier pod, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, of a client who got gazillions of no's but got 5 yeses and made a couple of grand in a few hours. Like there's $2,000 of reasons there to say, like, what's your excuse? Do it. So I think there's a stack ladder of opportunity, and I think just because the OCR is coming down, it's not going to save you, because ultimately as a business owner, you need to take action.
Yeah, because before you know it, well, I predict, and not like quickly, but eventually we'll be sitting here going, the OCR is 1.5, and people will still be like, oh, when's my life going to get better?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what does that now mean for me? Yeah, seriously, if you need to wait for it to be super frothy, then you might be waiting, for some time.
Or we're sitting here and in 6 months' time, we're basically saying, hey, guess what? They've fucked it up on the way up. They've fucked it up on the way down. The moral of the story is these guys just fuck it up. Rates are going back up. Then what do you do?
Oh,
and everyone's just going to shit the bed.
Mate, that would piss some serious people off if they turn the Titanic again and go, nah, inflation's worse than we thought. We're going to have to lift it.
Like, imagine that.
Gosh.
Like the OCR at 2.5 now, and then I think like everyone gets fascinated at what the drop is and where it is now. I think the better discussion is what's the track? What do the Reserve Bank, what do the economists see, 6 months from now? Is the guidance still, is it neutral? Is it still trending down? Look for those trends. And, the Reserve Bank's mandate, so their job is to keep inflation within that target band. And I think whilst this new governor comes into place and they might tolerate inflation being at the upper end of the band, how long do they tolerate it for? Because it's ultimately going to reflect on the personal performance of the governor. And that's going to be part of their KPIs. And if they're not meeting one of their key KPIs, what do you got to do? You're either going to lose your job or you keep your job. To keep your job, you're going to have to ratchet up the OCR.
Are you an established business that needs a solid business plan for the next 12 months? What about accountability every single quarter to make sure that you're taking action and getting closer to your goals? Our 12-month business planning service called The Winning Formula will be perfect for you. Over a half day, we'll map out your next 12 months in business, and then we'll meet quarterly to make sure that you're taking action and getting closer to your goals. This service is great for some external perspective, some challenge, and to help you stay focused on what it is that you really need to be doing in your business, which will help you identify. You can apply for the Winning Formula by booking a call at nextadvisory.nz. One of the things that I think is fascinating too that business owners need to be mindful of is we now live in this buy now, pay later world, and what that's done to the psychology of people. So I recently saw somebody complaining about how, people don't pay for their service because it's too expensive. And I heard someone saying, you don't know that. And they're like, well, we've got this going on and, this is sort of the percentage we convert. And they're like, have you offered it to them in a payment plan? And they're like, no. And they're like, so how do you know? Like maybe they do want to do it. You haven't offered them a payment plan. And I think it's very smart because we've spoken about it before on pods, but if you think about it, I think the credit active population in New Zealand might be 4-point-something million people, right? So that's people who can access credit. Once you strip out the really older people who aren't into, buy now, pay later as much because they're still in the credit card world, etc. Probably 1 in 3 people in New Zealand in that age bracket are using buy now, pay later. Yeah. And what it is teaching them is what they won't admit. I can't afford those $300 shoes. They are like, I can afford those because it's $50 for the next 6 weeks. Oh, wicked. That fits into my budget.
The instant gratification is greater than the financial cost.
So, but what I'm trying to teach here is that if they were to try and pay $300, they can't do it. So they would say, I can't afford it. So if you said, well, you need to pay me $300, it's like, no. But in their mind and now of how they've been taught and the psychology of this is, yes, you can afford it. It's 50 over 6 weeks. So they're walking around in their life as a potential customer to your business with a mindset of, I need it to be broken down. And I think if we're not smart about that, all of us as business owners, we're going to leave a shit ton of sales on the table because we're just trying to sell people the price rather than here's how you'll pay it off.
Right. And I mean, we do that. I mean, as much as we mug off buy now, pay later in terms of the actual tool at a consumer level, at a business level, we essentially do it through some of the business planning work that is done of just going, hey, look, you can come and work with us for $7,000, $20,000, whatever it is. You can pay an initial deposit of $X and the rest of it is paid over 12 months.
Yeah, smooth the cash flow.
We haven't changed our price. We know our value. We're just breaking down the payment challenge for the consumer. And had an interesting conversation with a business owner recently about the same thing of just going, well, you've sold something. If they're questioning the price, it's probably not the value that they're challenging. Like they want to do it. It's just they don't want to do it in one lump sum. If you, like you say, chunk it down and it's over 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is as a business. So you're transacting business to business. We're not transacting with consumers here. So we've got the buy now, pay later mentality, but we're controlling it not through the platform and going, okay, we've now got this $5,000 service or solution or whatever it is that I'm selling to another business. I want the $5,000 because I want to sell something. For them to be able to transact, they need to pay it off $2,500 now, $2,500 next month. I mean, who's going to say no to that?
Yeah, and every person that I speak to about buy now, pay later that's in the business space is like, my sales increased. Because it opened up a whole heap of people that want to buy that just can't, because their psychology is, I need to do it in a payment plan. And I was thinking it's the same with YouTube. They just put up their prices the other day for premium by about 20%. You go Spotify.
20%?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. You didn't get that notification? It was like a straight notification on your phone, like press here to carry on.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but you go Spotify, you go insurance, like everything is becoming a monthly. Like everyone is doing this. And even for us, I think we've got a couple of cash flow tools that we use. It probably cost us maybe 12 grand a year. And I think if they came to us and said, oh, lads, we need 12 grand, we'd go, fuck, I don't know if it's worth 12 grand.
Yeah.
But they both basically say, I pay monthly, and we just, add it on as another subscription.
Yep.
But if the way we want to think about this is a lot of the things that we are paying for on subscription, do you value it if you were to think of the annual cost of it? Because I think it's very easy to fall into because everyone's doing this monthly thing, right? But what you need to be mindful of as a business owner, again, is if you're not doing this, you are going to be leaving money on the table, because the entire economy is telling people, don't pay full in price, pay it off.
Pay it off.
And that's the behavior that has been driven. So I think there's a big lesson for us that we need to understand, all of us, how we apply that to our business.
So there's some good lessons there, and I think it highlights, like, if you're sitting back waiting for interest rates to drop to create activity, then you're going to be the last cab off the rank, because there's, as we're always saying, so much opportunity or levers or things that you can be doing in your business to stimulate activity or have an influence or impact on the numbers in your business by interacting with your customers or potential customers in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that we've adopted a mindset of very early on, really early on, and it was way back when we used to do go live videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
That was probably year one.
2017, yeah.
And it's just like, Phil, we're going live on Facebook. And we're doing what? Whoa, next minute we're live. And we're at whatever cafe it was in Parnell, way out of the comfort zone. We would probably been the only accounting firm doing it. People were probably going, look at these clowns. But the point of the story is we were prepared to try something that no one else is doing, and we still continue to have that ethos or methodology in the way we run the business of like, okay, here's an idea, let's just try it. What's the worst that happens? No one's going to die. We're not going to lose the business. Might piss off a few people. We might say the wrong thing, but that's feedback from the universe that, hey, lads, you're on the wrong track. Or we've put out a message and then we get some person giving us some advice on via their keyboard, hey, you shouldn't be mugging off accountants like that, or you clowns don't know what you're talking about. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's your opinion, but, we're quite comfortable because we've got this audience over here. But we're prepared to try, and I think so many business owners don't know the opportunity because they just don't want to try.
The funny thing, we've done some content recently of things that I know is working. One is the Xero example you left before about, ringing up all those people. Another is a flyer drop we know is working from a client, how they go about it, broke it down into steps. The other is our client who's got the LinkedIn strategy, and it's like, here's 3 strategies that we know are working. No one has said to me, thanks, mate, I'm going to have a go at that. It's literally like crickets.
Yeah.
And this is what you're competing with. Like, there will be some people that go and do have a go and be like, okay, let's see if this works. But like, this is what we're in. People are so beaten up. It's like, I'm laying it out on a plate for you, step by step, what you're going to need to do. And people are not even like, fuck, thank you so much, mate. I'm going to have a go.
Great story of a 1%er, because that's, I think, like what you say, of what you're competing with. Like 99% of the people aren't going to take action. I had somebody
That won't work for me.
booked into somebody looking at buying a very small business and paid for an hour of our time, would have been June last year. Emailed me last week. They are a podcast listener and watch the YouTube videos, and they took the time to email me last week with an update, and they didn't want to provide an update because things didn't go to plan for them based on the back of the phone call, and I think they felt probably a little bit maybe embarrassed or ashamed that it just wasted time and their money and da-da-da-da. But anyway, fast forward, they've listened to the podcast, listened to the thing, taken action. In 6 months, they've earned more than what they have in the previous 12.
Yes. Well done.
And closed it out by saying, really appreciative, obviously, the stuff that we're doing. So that's always lovely to get the feedback. And then went on to say, looking forward to getting back in contact when I'm ready to book a 90-day planning.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, how good's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like we
So
do.
it does work.
Oh, don't get me wrong. We get so many people reaching out saying like, I've done this and thank you so much.
But
and
I
it's
think
good.
it highlights to your point that that's the minority.
Yeah, yeah.
And for the people that are saying that, oh, it doesn't work, mugging us off like you're clowns, you're muppets, you don't know what you're talking about. We got case study after example of people giving us feedback that show we got 1% of the people here that are prepared to take action and are getting results.
Yeah.
If you're sitting over here just going, oh, it's it won't work or doesn't work or you're not prepared to try, you're part of the 99% where the 1% are just getting a bigger slice of the pie. You're making it easier.
I just finished doing business planning with Gordon yesterday. That will go out. People will be able to watch the recording. And one of his things and his action items for his 90 days was a flyer. He designed it. He sent it to me. What do you think? Gave him a little bit of feedback. I said, mate, honestly, like it highlights a problem. There's a solution there. Let's just get some in some mailboxes. He's like to me, yeah, mate, printed 3,000. I'm like, attaboy, attaboy. You know, like that's it. And it's just exciting because you're like, awesome. Here's a dude who's invested money in his business. At the start of it, he was basically asking me like, oh, like, so, you know, how can I guarantee that this is going to work? I'm like, I'll tell you what, mate, I guarantee if you do what I tell you to do, then you shouldn't have too much to worry about. But if you don't, I guarantee this ain't going to work. So you can decide. But anyway, he's done a whole stack and he's got a lot of value out of it and let people watch his journey as well. But he's really only just getting started. So I wanted to do it with a business owner who is kind of new, because you get the, oh, that business is established, they're way further down, of course that's going to work from them. I'm like, let's show behind the scenes of someone that's fucking, you know, like starting from kind of, I want to turn this thing around and I've got to make some mindset changes and all sorts. But Prince 3,000 of the bad boys, and I'm going to be on his ass about, have you delivered them? How are you going? Have you had any inquiry?
3,000.
But all it is basically an immediate problem that he can solve for people that then he can go and do. It'll make a little bit of money and it's got margin in it, but he can then build trust with the person, and then that will lead to another job in the future. So we're building the snowball with the flyer, you know, and most people just wouldn't do that. I don't think, and that's the beauty of what we're competing with at the moment.
Because to sit there and just go, that I think, like what we've said to business owners in the past is there's the risk of putting your personal lens of your own buying behavior in your business, which is going to impact your decision. Now, I know for me that I would, if somebody said to me, oh, flyers are, you know, you need to do a flyer for next year, no, mug it off because they don't work. Because I know my own behavior is get a flyer, might skim through them, might not, they go in the bin.
Yeah.
So immediately doesn't work. But that's just me. I'm not one in everybody. There's going to be somebody out there that loves getting the blooming New World flyer, cutting out the coupons, taking it for their 20-cent discount, whatever it is. You know, there might be 10 of those people in every 100. Who knows? But the point is, you don't know unless you try.
Yeah.
He might send out 3,000 flyers, get 10 phone calls and get one piece of work. Great, you got one piece of work. You might get no work, but at least you've tried.
Well, I'll put it like this, mate. If you opened your letterbox and you did have a problem and there was one pamphlet in it and it said that it could solve your problem, would you throw it in the bin?
If I had that problem and I needed it solved, oh, look, if it was talking to me at the right time, yeah.
Bingo. So that's the point of it. However, if you open your letterbox and there are 10 people saying that they can solve the same problem, what are you going to do with those? Like they're all basically solving the same problem. But there's 10 of them.
Jeez, I'm in a difficult place here. Like it's a lolly scramble then as to which one I'm going to pick.
Exactly. So the chances of each of those people just decrease. So what I'm highlighting is this is classic New Zealand behaviour. Oh, it's 2021. Fuck me, we're in a global pandemic. Interest rates are cheap. Everyone's buying a house. I better go and do it too. Oh my God, I can't believe my house has gone down in value and that interest rates have gone up. How did this happen? This is bullshit. This is so unfair. Apologies, but that's literally what we do as humans. We're like, oh, what's everyone running to? I better run over there.
Probably.
And what it's going to take is everyone to do flyers, and then someone will go, fuck, I better start doing flyers. So you have to do this stuff whilst people aren't doing it. Much like Phil said before, no one was doing Facebook Lives in that space. What do? Okay, let's have a crack. And too many people are just sitting back going, oh, that won't work. Now, the other point that I need to drill into people is stop watching the news talking about massive organizations laying off people and the economy's slow. You're running a 2 or 3 person SME business. That's not a big giant conglomerate that's gone, oh shit, all of our leases are gone up and I don't know if we're going to sustain this. People aren't buying as much in store anymore. That feedback and data isn't your business. We've got way too many SMEs that are just out there absolutely crushing it at the moment, being paid and rewarded more than they ever have previously because they're lean, they're agile, they can go and pick up a bit of work, they're steamrolling other people, they are doing the fly drops, they're calling people, and they're doing what other people aren't willing to do. And they're kind of going, well, it's on like easy mode. I'm not competing with as many people. And I think it's just very hard for people to actually believe because all the data is like, no, that's not what's happening.
Well, it is pretty easy when there's only 1% in the market actually actively participating because 99% are sitting outside the ring waiting for the customers to come and get them to come into the ring.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to go to the market.
Yeah.
Some final things, mate, that I put into an email. Don't sit back and wait for the economy to fix itself. Focus on selling and positioning yourself properly. Lead with outcomes, not just price or hours. Protecting your margin and knowing your numbers, i.e. like actually understand your margins. If you're going to drop your pants by 10, 15%, what's that going to do to your profitability? Don't just do it to win the job. Understand it. Build your brand. The stronger your reputation, the less you need to discount. Collect those reviews. Taking action whilst others hesitate. Momentum wins while competitors sit still. Looking after your existing and past clients. Repeat business and referrals are often cheaper than new acquisition. Make more offers. Keep your mindset sharp. Downturns are where strong operators separate themselves from the weak. Don't sell out of desperation. Feed your mind good food and content. Invest in capabilities, skills, systems, training, and people that set you apart from undercutters. Address objections and be prepared to. Know that it's tough, so then know what to say in response to people who are going to challenge you. Think about payment plans, and then know what to do with your money once it does come in. It's a very good resource to have, and it's a tool. You know, and I think a lot of the times we try and collect it and hoard it and be like, okay, I've got it now, I better put it over there. And, you know, the builder doesn't go and buy all the tools and be like, great, I've got them, I'll put them in the back of the Ranger. You take that fucking Ranger out there and you get those tools in operation and you recycle it, you use the tool. Cash is a tool, and sometimes we can deploy it into the business.
Provided the Ranger's not broken down.
Hopefully, yeah. It's past year 5, someone told us in the comments the other day. Definitely agree, boys, it only lasts 5 years. But, you know, there's people sitting on cash at the moment because they're waiting for this moment or... You know, they've got some and they haven't had some, so then they're scared to deploy it. It's just, you know, it's just a tool. It's energy. Get it flowing into something that's going to return you more.
You had a good one there, 3rd or 4th from the bottom.
Okay, keep your mindset sharp, not that one. Investing in skills, systems, training.
No.
Address objections and be prepared to. Making more offers. I made a couple up as I was going.
Yeah, it might have been one of the. Then I thought, oh, that's actually quite good. Okay, and I should have written it down. It's all right.
Yeah. Realistically, for most of us, inflation is still making life more expensive, and for most, interest rate cuts won't fix that overnight. Because even if the general basket of goods is 3%, your rates, your food, your insurance, your kids' schooling, your travel, all of that shit that you want to do, like the fun stuff, let's be honest, is more expensive, and it's probably becoming more expensive than your wages are keeping up with. So.
Yeah, and I think with the OCR, like it's for a business owner, it's not having a huge impact because interest rates on business debt are already so much higher and typically they're fixed in. So if there is a cut in the OCR, it's not all of a sudden going to make you miraculously more profitable. And this is why we beat home the point for business owners, like waiting for the OCR to get lower as the reason to then go, things are getting better, you're just going to be left hanging. You're going to be the last apple to be picked. No one's going to want it. Like, you're in control of your P&L. Like, drive it, control it, take action. Because, like, yes, you've got debt on your balance sheet. It might be to whatever bank for whatever arrangement you've got, or you've got some debt against your home for buying them. Whatever it is, it's not going to have a huge impact on your P&L when it comes down to 2.5%. And your interest rate drops down a little bit from your bank, and then it's going to roll over in another couple of years because the OCR is now down to 2% or whatever it is. We're just waiting for this number to get lower to make things all of a sudden get cheaper. Well, things are actually costing more money. Business is becoming increasingly more expensive because people are wanting wages to go up to keep up with the cost of everything that's going up.
Yeah.
It doesn't solve the fundamental problem. You've got to sell more shit.
Love it. Yeah.
Like, sell more and do it more efficiently, which means understanding gross profit. And if you're lost at that, we've got a stacked ton of resources. If you don't want to consume the resources, book a time with us. We'd love to sit down and help business owners unpack sales and gross profit, because that's ultimately where the magic is. And that is where you will make more money, not from an OCR cut.
Yeah, jump on the website and book a consulting call and we can take you through it. I think it's a really good point too. You know, it's funny, there's going to be business owners that are like, Sally's got the problem, right? Sally doesn't want to spend yet. Okay, what the OCR cut does mean is that Sally may get closer to having the confidence to solve her problem. Sally still ain't going to spend it with you if she doesn't know you exist, you know? So you probably still need to get yourself in front of Sally. Same thing with our clients who are saying, shit, I've gone back through and I've rung all of our old leads and quotes that we've done because the economy's changed, their circumstances have changed, and some of them are like, oh yeah, we do want to do the bathroom reno now. We do need to fix that now. Yeah, we will fix the crack in the windscreen because financially we can afford to. Our circumstances have changed. But guess what? Those business owners still went to the market. The more that people think that they can just wait for the market to come to them, like I just think it's plain arrogant. You know, people would say that we're arrogant the amount of marketing we do. I think it's arrogant for people to sit back and expect that the fucking market's just going to come to them because greedily they think that they deserve it. No, you got to get out there and solve problems for people. And you know, most people aren't willing to do it. They're just waiting for the economy to be so frothy that they can just shoot fish in a barrel and be like, oh, look how good I am at this. But yeah, they're just going to get steamrolled by those who actually go out there and do even more.
Complacency will be a killer.